If you said, Wilds, we need to take a U-turn and do 2 hours on why the Heat should trade Tyler Hero because of that podcast, I'm for it.
Okay. You know what? Hopefully, do that on your actual podcast. Maybe we'll get more than a couple hundred views this week.
I got 40,000. That's a lot.
That is.
Meanwhile, the Light Show returning to Kansas City. That would be exciting if it happened.
I sure would.
I'd be happy.
I've been begging for it for 2 years.
Me too. Mahomes was asking for it.
I don't know.
What's going on? But right now, Pacers, almost a 10-point underdog tonight, even though they haven't lost back-to-back games since March. That's the proprietary stat. Here's Halliburton yesterday.
In the playoffs, it's a little different. You don't really get the right to flush games. You got to learn from everything and watch the film and see where you can get better in every area. So, Game 4 didn't end the way we wanted it to, but the biggest thing is you can't let one spiral into two.
Okay, so the Pacers are very good at that. Active streaks without losing back-to-back games. The Thunder have 24, which is actually really good, but the Pacers have 39. Brew, did this proprietary stat weigh in your decision to change back to the Pacers?
No, it didn't. It didn't. It's something in that it shows they're a good team, obviously, and resilient. But we've already known that. I guess you think this is going to continue, so they win Game 5, maybe lose Game 6, and then win Game 7.
If it continues, they win the championship.
That would be winning 3 out of 4 in OKC, which is obviously a tall task. But, look, I think this is going to come down to execution, will, and stamina. Because I think the teams, if you like OKC better on paper, that's fine, but they're evenly matched as far as the way they play. You know, OKC's defense obviously has given Indiana problems. However, they've shot well against that defense, Indiana. And I think, most of the teams in the NBA play iso ball or high pick and roll, and, 1 or 2 guys create everything. And that's easier to defend, whereas even for a great team like OKC, the ball movement, the player movement, nobody's over dribbling, that makes it a little tougher on their defense. So I think that Indiana could wear OKC down. That's what Rick Carlisle's strategy is in a lot of these series as they go into 6 and 7 games, to wear opponents down. And we've seen them wearing OKC down a little bit. That's why they took Shea off the ball and had him playing like a 2-guard instead of, initiating the offense. And so that's going to be a question. Will they be able to wear them down? They certainly don't have them on the ropes because OKC has a home court advantage. But they're adjusting. Like when I saw, and it almost worked, when I saw OKC go back to the big lineup when they started Hartenstein and Chet together in Game 4, I was like, advantage Indy. Like, you've got them changing now. They changed to start the series. They're changing back. And that team is +7, I believe, in the series with the 2 bigs. But
the original starting lineup?
Yeah, the original starting lineup. But it was 0 in Game 4. So I think you've got the best. Nick, they also have shrunk their bench.
Who's the they?
OKC.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of going with now Case and Wallace back off the bench and Caruso. So that's where can Indiana wear them down? And I think they got a great chance to do so.
So I think it's nothing because I think it ends tonight. And I think that I think it's impressive that they've done it.
Yeah.
I don't think it is going to sustain because I think the Thunder are going to win convincingly tonight. I also think you might think the Thunder are going to win convincingly tonight. I also think you wanted to pick the Thunder before the series, but because you are unburdened by take integrity, you simply saw that Brew and I both picked the Thunder and decided that, you know what, for the sake of the show, Wilds did the thing, if I may, and this is a compliment to you, I promise.
Well, you never know.
That folks accuse people on shows like this of doing all the time, which is like, oh, you just pick the opposite, and they use it as a pejorative. But Wilds did it so shamelessly and openly that nobody could criticize him for it.
He literally sacrificed
He literally said, well, you guys are picking, so I'll pick it. But you wanted the Thunder all the time. Brew has now made it so if the Pacers win, he is going to claim full glory on it.
Absolutely.
Just like when they beat the Cavs, even though he picked the Cavs in that series.
Did I?
So you did.
You did.
It was so long ago.
So you can just go with the Thunder.
I unfortunately am not ready to do that yet.
You got to watch the first half.
I might have to go deep into the third quarter before I'm willing to change a pick.
You'll probably make a pick after the game.
I need a 30-point game. I did the research. It's not that hard of research. The guy scores 30 points in every series, and he hasn't done it. And here's what bothers me. He had 20-something against the Bucks, high 20s against the Bucks. Here's what bothers me, Brew. This series, he's 17, 7, and 6. Well, okay. I'm sure the Thunder,
it's nothing to sneeze at.
but I'm sure the Thunder were like, hey.
No, it's basically LeBron stats against the 2011 Mavs.
Halliburton's going to get you with 18, 7, and 6 and 4 turnovers a game. I think every single Thunder fan on the globe be like, that's good with us. That's totally fine. If he can stay bottled up and just do that and pass the ball and be kind of not really pushing
He
the
averaged
issue.
18 points this season.
Well, it's the finals, Brew.
I'm just saying, you're acting like he was a 27-point scorer. He's not Jalen Brunson.
Then someone, when he has the 30-point triple-double against the Knicks, someone needs to get on TV and say, I don't like it. That's too much. I don't like a usage rate like that.
It's just not his game.
Well, make it your game. You need a bucket. It's the fourth quarter. The game is starting to slip away. It's the most important game of your life. It's slipping away. Can someone get a bucket? Can you get a bucket?
Up and under.
Wild.
It's driving me nuts.
I think he had 8 points in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right about that. And he did. The weirdest thing about Halliburton is it was the fourth quarter of Game 4 when he took his first free throws.
Yeah.
And I know we're about
the whole series.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because he was like, I'm going to get to the hoop.
Yeah, and so I understand your critique that I think the right commentary after the 30-point game against the Knicks is that was awesome. Don't rely on it.
Right.
You can't count on it. And it's again, sorry to date myself here, I was in high school, and shows like this, aside from PTI, didn't really exist when the Nets made those back-to-back finals.
With J.
Kidd. But I don't think when they were getting cracked by the
existed at that point.
Yeah, it did.
It started in 03 or something.
Yeah,
02,
they made the 02 and 03 finals. The PTI just started.
Okay.
I don't think during those series, those two finals, both of which they lost pretty soundly, where people like Jay Kidd's gotta go get us 30 just because it was understood. It's not, he could occasionally, but it's not what he did. It's a tough needle to thread, and that's why I feel like Game 4 was such a missed opportunity. Because they were threading it. Like, Halliburton only had 10 points through 3 quarters. They were in control of the game. They, for that one night, had the more swarming defense, it felt like. You know what I mean? It wasn't just that OKC only hit 3 threes. They only took 16. So they were getting run off the three-point line. Indiana was really, I thought, doing a great job defensively and finding a new way to win. But there are a bunch of stats. I think every time Halliburton has scored 20, they've won this postseason.
Yes.
I think they're undefeated when he gets to 20.
Can I ask for 20?
You can ask for 20.
You asked for that the other day.
Yeah.
But look, and I'm not trying to soft pedal anything around Halliburton. I get he does have to play better. I'm just saying, why isn't anybody saying, when's he going to get 11 assists? Because that's more along the lines of his game. He's always among the league leaders in assists. I just think judging him by how many points he scores isn't really the way it should go.
Siakam's more likely to get 30.
Yeah. And you mentioned quickly the three-point shots for OKC. They were 3 for 16 in Game 4. That is a part of this story of this series. Indiana, which all of a sudden has become a very good defensive team, is stopping OKC from taking threes.
Yeah.
OKC averaged 39 three-point attempts in the regular season. They're averaging, they're averaging 26 in this series. So that's a big part of this thing, too. And they're cutting off, both teams are cutting off each other's transition baskets.
Okay, moving on to an odd storyline. Scott Foster. If you love Scott Foster, Game 4 of the finals, it's one of your favorite games you've ever seen. Foster called 23 fouls and had 2 flagrant reviews in the first half. It led to some fan criticism, which Pacers coach Rick Carlisle wasn't interested in hearing.
I think it's awful what some of the things I've seen about the officiating, and Scott Foster in particular. I've known Scott Foster for 30 years. He's a great official. He's done a great job in these playoffs. We've had him a lot of times, and the ridiculous scrutiny that's being thrown out there is terrible, and unfair and unjust and stupid.
Carlisle, very online.
Yeah.
Your reaction to this?
Well, the latest in the savvy moves by Rick Carlisle. It almost looked like he had trouble keeping a straight face. And I'm not saying it was total hogwash, but clearly he's buttering up Scott Foster and also the other officials. Because they're looking at like he's defending us. And like you said, Scott Foster could get Game 7. So smart move if there is a Game 7, a smart move by Carlisle there. And you guys know by now, I'm just not a guy that is into bashing the officials and using it as excuses, even though I would have loved to have seen Indiana win. I just don't think this came down to officiating. Was there a call here or there late that you could, be critical of? I had the stats written down somewhere, but the foul calls were very close. Here it is. In the fourth quarter, there were 10 fouls called on Indiana and 9 called on Oklahoma City. In the fourth quarter, OKC took 14 free throws. Indiana took 10, but Indiana missed 3 of those 10. Overall,